100% from the floor, and somehow the leading returning scorer from last year is kind of slipping under the radar for this team. J.J. Starling, my most impressive player for the first half. When you're playing a Power 5 team like Syracuse, who does turn the ball over, you can't give it right back. This afternoon, Syracuse will be taking on California in an ACC battle that features strength versus weakness. The weakness, Syracuse turning the ball over. The strength, the Golden Bears causing them. He's raised nearly $400,000 in the past week from just under 200 donors. Interestingly, though, just 6 of those donors live in Nebraska, and most of his financial support is coming from left-wing organizations and individuals. Resign or be fired. That was the message given from Intel's board of directors to its CEO, Patrick Gelsinger. He took the first option and retired. He makes some turnovers as well. That could be a point of concern, because sometimes when you're trying to make those flashy no-look passes and try to be like Magic Johnson, you end up like Tragic Bronson. Jaquan, you were my player to watch before the game. You made me look like a smart guy. What was the key to be so successful today and get a double-double in the win? Chicago rapper Lil Durk was arrested on Thursday for being the alleged mastermind behind a murder-for-hire plot aimed at fellow rapper Quando Rondo in 2022. Someone was murdered, but it wasn't Quando Rondo. They're not a very well-conditioned team, and that's not really a problem you can address in season. So they try to rotate their players a lot. At times they move to a zone because they can't keep up with the constant running that a man defense requires, but that does turn into leaving the 3 open. At Syracuse, their defense always seems to be a step behind on cuts, especially early on in the season, like in this Fairleigh Dickinson game. When you watch them in the paint, all those backdoor cuts just beat them.
You're going to hear about my party. They're going to be shutting them down. They're going to probably be arresting me, doing all types of crazy things just because we want to have a good time.
Yeah, well, I guess he was right. P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, whatever you call him, he has 3 charges looming over his head that could end in as little as 15-year sentence or as long as life. Durk sent 5 OTF members on a flight from Chicago to San Diego a day before the plan was to kill Quando Rondo. Then they booked a hotel room on Durk's credit card. Brilliant. Gavin Cody is a microwave. He can heat up in a minute, and you better watch out. You better get a hand up, because all of his shots are coming from behind the arc. If they can get him going, hey, who knows? The Orange could be in trouble. LaQuinn Allen spurts away for a 30-yard rushing touchdown. That makes it 13-0 early for the Orange. Just 2 plays later, though, Javian Thomas, a 75-yard rushing touchdown. That was one of only 3 of his carries for the day. Well, I think with Judah Mintz, you see a lot of isolation play, and that works to a certain extent when you play those weaker non-conference teams. When you got into ACC play and you tried to do that, everyone knew where the ball was going. It was going to Judah Mintz. And now, when Jaquan Carlos, you have all these other weapons around you, you can really facilitate, run some pick and roll with the big man Eddie Lampkin, and really expand the offense and scoring potential. He's faster than the corner that's guarding him, who had to come all the way across the field to follow him, and it's just another easy score. And let your teammates work for you, set a screen for you. How about that? And it's interesting how they've utilized Justin Barron with all those injuries in the secondary. They've kind of moved him to that hybrid linebacker role, playing a lot inside the box. Well, it's taken its toll. Boeing's the nation's largest exporter, and now they aren't exporting. It's estimated that they affect over 1.6 million American jobs directly. The last time that Syracuse beat 2 ranked opponents in the regular season was all the way back in 2001. They have a chance to do it again on Friday night. This is a player who can just purely score the ball. I mean, she's really improved her game from last year. She didn't even average 4 points. Now she's averaging 17 and 10 and shooting 47% from 3. She didn't make a 3 last year. Syracuse's offseason has been labeled one of major turnover, new coach, new quarterback. That's not really the full story. Syracuse actually top 10 in the nation in returning production. Ohio, on the other hand, 133 out of 134. Donnie Freeman with a huge block. Chris Bell over to Lampkin. The hops. Not there, but the finish is. Syracuse's offense has been rocking so far this season. Kyle McCord's been throwing dots, and the receivers have been catching them. Through the first 2 weeks, Rondé Gadsden and Trevor Pena were the top receiving touchdown duo in the nation. This shooting guard is a true shooting guard. He can pull up from anywhere beyond the arc, arguably the best shooter in this recruiting class. And I'd also like to see Sophie Burrows pass the ball, facilitate a little more. They let her do that in the Missouri game a little bit, and then she had 7 assists, 0 turnovers. She hadn't had another game in her career with more than 3.